something just surfaced that Paramount never meant us to see. A leaked piece of footage tied to Landman Season 2 is quietly circulating, and if it's real, then this series isn't just raising the stakes, it's completely rewriting the rules. Because what this trailer hints at isn't just bigger drama or louder explosions. It suggests betrayal, power shifts, and a version of Tommy Norris we may not be ready for. Fans are stunned for a reason. And once you understand what this leak reveals, you'll see why Season 2 could be the most dangerous chapter of Landman yet. Section 1. Landman. Season 2 has been building tension for months, but this leaked footage changes everything. If Season 1 was about survival, Season 2 looks like it's about consequences. The trailer doesn't waste time easing us back in. The tone is darker, colder, and far more calculated, which immediately tells us that Tommy Norris is no longer just reacting to chaos. He's trapped inside it. And that shift matters. By the end of Season 1, Tommy wasn't simply a crisis manager putting out fires in the West Texas oil fields. He became a man standing at the center of multiple power structures that all want something from him. Oil executives, government forces, cartel leadership, and the roughnecks who actually keep the machines running, everyone sees Tommy as either a tool or a threat. The leaked footage leans heavily into that idea. There's an unspoken sense that Tommy's world has narrowed, that every decision he makes now comes with a cost that can't be undone. What makes this especially intense is how the show seems to be reframing its central conflict. Season 1 showed us violence, kidnappings, and brute force. Season 2 appears to be about strategy. Quiet conversations feel more dangerous than gunfire. Long silences feel heavier than shouting matches. And that lines up perfectly with what we know is coming after the Season 1 finale. Tommy survived cartel torture, but survival came at a price. Galino didn't save him out of kindness. He saved him because Tommy is valuable. The leaked trailer subtly reinforces this idea by presenting Tommy not as a victim, but as a piece on a chessboard. You can feel it in the pacing, in the way moments linger just a little too long, as if every character is calculating their next move. And that's what makes this leak so unsettling. It suggests that Season 2 won't give us clear heroes or villains. Instead, it's pushing everyone deeper into morally gray territory. The oil business is no longer just about money or land. It's about influence, leverage, and who controls the narrative when things go wrong. Even without explicit spoilers, the leaked footage communicates one clear message. Tommy is losing control, not in a loud, dramatic way, but in a slow, almost invisible way that's far more terrifying. The systems around him are growing larger, smarter, and more ruthless, and he's being forced to play their game. This isn't a man running from fires anymore. This is a man standing in the middle of them, realizing that some fires are meant to burn. What really makes this leaked Landman Season 2 footage feel explosive is how clearly it signals a shift in power. Season 1 ended with the illusion that Tommy Norris survived the worst of it, but Season 2 looks determined to prove that survival was only the beginning of his problems. The trailer leak hints that Tommy is now operating in a world where every alliance is temporary and every favor comes with a hidden demand. Galino's presence looms large over everything, even when he's not directly on screen. The dynamic between these two men appears to have evolved into something far more dangerous than open hostility. This is no longer about violence for the sake of control. It's about manipulation, long-term strategy, and forcing others to make impossible choices. The footage gives the impression that Galino sees Tommy as an equal, not because Tommy wants to be one, but because circumstances have pushed him there. And that's where the tension really lives. Tommy is a man who built his career fixing disasters, but now he's part of the disaster itself. The oil company executives who once relied on him seem more cautious, almost distant, as if they understand that keeping Tommy close might draw unwanted attention. Meanwhile, the political side of this world feels heavier than ever. The leak suggests that oil money, cartel influence, and government interests are starting to overlap in ways that can't be undone. There's a sense that deals are being made behind closed doors, deals that don't just affect profits, but entire communities. And caught in the middle are the roughnecks, the workers who actually keep the oil flowing. Season 2 seems ready to give them more weight, showing how pressure from the top eventually crushes those at the bottom. The leaked footage quietly hints at unrest, frustration, and the possibility that these workers may no longer stay silent. That's important because it grounds the story. It reminds us that Landman isn't just about powerful men in rooms making decisions. It's about the ripple effects of those decisions on real lives. Another striking thing about this leak is how controlled everything feels. There's less chaos on the surface, but far more tension underneath. Conversations feel loaded. Eye contact feels like confrontation. And Tommy, once confident in his ability to navigate crises, now looks like a man constantly second-guessing his next move. He's not panicking, but he's no longer comfortable either. The trailer suggests that Season 2 will slowly strip away the illusion that anyone in this world is truly in charge. Power is shifting, loyalty is fading, and the lines between business, crime, and politics are becoming impossible to separate. And that's what makes fans so stunned by this leak. It doesn't promise a louder season, it promises a smarter, darker, and far more unsettling one. Another reason this leaked Season 2 footage has fans talking is because of what it suggests about the wider world of Landman. Season 1 was tightly focused on West Texas, but Season 2 looks like it's expanding the battlefield. The story no longer feels confined to oil fields and corporate offices. Instead, it feels like the consequences of those spaces are spreading outward, pulling new environments and new players into the fight for control. The leaked trailer gives off the sense that money is moving in quieter, more dangerous ways now. It's not just being drilled out of the ground, it's being cleaned, redirected, and transformed into influence. That's where the tone becomes especially unsettling. Nothing in this footage feels accidental. Every movement, every location shift, every conversation feels intentional, as if the show is telling us that the real damage doesn't happen in explosions, but in agreements that no one will ever publicly admit to making. This season appears ready to explore how power hides itself behind luxury, comfort, and normalcy. There's a chilling contrast between calm environments and the dirty business happening beneath them. And at the center of it all is Tommy, who seems increasingly aware that the system he works for is far more corrupt than he ever allowed himself to believe. What makes this especially compelling is how isolated he feels. Even when surrounded by people, Tommy appears alone. Trust is a liability now, and the leaked footage strongly suggests that anyone close to him could become leverage against him. That emotional pressure is just as intense as the physical danger he faced before. Meanwhile, other characters seem to be stepping into larger roles. The power vacuum left behind by Monty Miller's death is clearly still shaping the corporate side of the story. Season 2 looks ready to show us how quickly leadership changes when profit is on the line. Alliances form fast, and they break even faster. The leak hints that ambition will drive people to make decisions that push the entire operation closer to collapse. And then there's the question of loyalty. The footage gives subtle signs that loyalty is no longer tied to people, but to outcomes. Whoever can deliver results survives. Whoever can't becomes expendable. That's a terrifying rule to live by, and Tommy knows it. You can sense the weight of that knowledge in every moment. The leaked trailer doesn't spell this out directly, but it doesn't need to. The atmosphere does the work. It tells us that Season 2 is less about reacting to disaster and more about living inside one that's been carefully designed. Fans aren't stunned because the footage is flashy. They're stunned because it feels honest about how power really works. Quiet, patient, and unforgiving. What ultimately makes this leaked Landman Season 2 trailer feel so powerful is the sense that everything is now converging. All the pressure that was slowly building in Season 1 seems ready to collide at once. The oil business, cartel influence, corporate ambition, political maneuvering, and the lives of everyday workers are no longer running on separate tracks. They're crashing into each other, and Tommy Norris is standing right at the center of it. The leaked footage gives the impression that Season 2 will force Tommy to confront a question he's avoided for a long time. How far is he willing to go to survive? Fixing problems used to mean restoring balance. Now, fixing problems might mean choosing which part of himself he's willing to sacrifice. That internal struggle feels like the true heart of the season. The trailer leak also strongly suggests that consequences will finally catch up to everyone. No deal stays clean forever. No alliance remains stable. And no amount of money can fully control the chaos it creates. There's a growing sense that the system itself is starting to crack under its own weight. Workers push back, executives panic, and power brokers make riskier moves to stay ahead. Season 2 looks ready to show what happens when those at the top lose their grip and those at the bottom refuse to stay silent. Even without a confirmed release date in the footage, the timing feels deliberate. With filming already underway and a late 2025 release expected, this leak feels like a warning rather than a tease. It's telling fans to brace themselves for a slower, darker, more psychological season. One that doesn't rely on shock value, but on tension that builds and refuses to let go. The most unsettling part is that nothing in the leaked trailer promises resolution. It promises escalation, the kind where every choice makes the next one worse. And that's why fans are stunned. Not because Landman is trying to be louder or bigger, but because it's becoming more honest about power, corruption, and the cost of playing both sides. Season 2 isn't just continuing the story, it's closing in on its characters, tightening the walls, and daring them to find a way out when there may not be one. Another reason this leaked Landman Season 2 footage has fans talking is because of what it suggests about the wider world of the show. Season 1 felt grounded in the oil fields of West Texas, but Season 2 looks like it's widening the battlefield. The story no longer feels locked to rigs and boardrooms. Instead, it feels like the consequences of those places are spreading outward, pulling new environments and new players into the struggle for control. The leaked trailer gives the strong impression that money is moving in quieter, more dangerous ways now. It's not just being pulled out of the ground, it's being cleaned, redirected, and turned into influence. And that's where the tone becomes deeply unsettling. Nothing in this footage feels random or accidental. Every moment feels planned, as if the show is telling us that the real damage doesn't come from explosions, but from agreements made in private and never spoken about in public. Season 2 appears ready to explore how power hides itself behind luxury, comfort, and calm surfaces. There's a chilling contrast between controlled environments and the dirty decisions being made underneath them. At the center of it all is Tommy Norris, who seems more aware than ever that the system he works for is far more corrupt than he ever admitted to himself. What makes this especially compelling is how isolated he feels. Even when surrounded by people, Tommy appears alone. Trust has become a risk, and the leaked footage strongly suggests that anyone close to him can be used as leverage. That emotional pressure feels just as dangerous as the physical threats he survived before. On the corporate side, the power vacuum left by Monty Miller's death still hangs over everything. Season 2 looks ready to show how quickly leadership changes when profit is threatened. Ambition takes over, alliances shift overnight, and decisions are made with no regard for long-term damage. The leak hints that loyalty no longer belongs to people, but to outcomes. Whoever delivers results stays protected. Whoever fails becomes disposable. That's a brutal reality to live in, and Tommy knows it. The leaked trailer doesn't explain this directly, but it doesn't need to. The atmosphere says it all. Season 2 isn't about reacting to chaos anymore. It's about surviving inside a system that was designed to crush anyone who hesitates.